What's up guys, it's your girl Nicole.Young and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. You picked a good one. So I get a lot of questions about what platforms or tools should you be using when you are just starting out with HTML and CSS to be able to monetize your skills and build projects for clients. And today I am bringing you a platform that is perfect for all of you who know HTML and CSS, whether you are just learning or a complete pro. For today's video, I am partnering with the.com to share with you their newly launched platform that combines the ease of use that you get from certain builder websites and platforms with the complete and total control and flexibility that you get from building from scratch with code. The platform also has a built-in community where you can use or share website segments or blocks, as they're called on the.com, with other people and get actual social credit, which will eventually turn into the monetization of that credit as well. I think that this is a perfect nod to the Web3 future we are moving into that emphasizes ownership, and that is something I'm super excited about. If that is something that sounds interesting to you, you definitely want to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to walk you through the entire platform and also show you just how easy it is to get started building your first website. So I have so much that I want to share with you about the.com, but for today's video, we're just going to stick to the basics. So I encourage you to use the link down in the description to check it out for yourself and start deep diving into all of the things that you can do if we don't touch on enough for you in this video. Okay, this is the.com. Let's log in. So when you first log in, it's going to bring you to your dashboard where you can start creating a site. So let's start doing that first. Let's create a new site. So it's created. We can also change the name of that here. So let's change it to Kelly Larkin. She's going to be our test subject today. Demo site. All right. We're going to open it up. So immediately you are going to see, I'm going to move it up a little bit so that you can see, this is the worksheet. So this is where you are going to be able to manage all of the pages in your website, manage all of the blocks that you can create or add to your website. Here is Sheets. We're going to create one of these for the website we're going to use today. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. It's a really powerful aspect. And then also you can add all of the media that you want to add into your website. Now let's look at the toolbar. So down here you can click back into your own dashboard to manage other websites that you have. You can also use this to search different aspects of the worksheet that you want to jump into. You're going to definitely want to know where the save button is at all times because you want to make sure you're saving your changes as you go. Nothing new there. This is where you're going to go find the feed. That is that community marketplace that I mentioned. This is a tool that you can use to jump into some helpful videos that the.com has already created. And then this is going to jump you into the Slack community, which I think is great that they have built in. So if you ever have any questions, you know exactly where to ask them. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start with just dropping in some of the media that I want in my site. So I'm going to open up the folder that I had for this, and I'm just going to start dropping in the files that I need. Okay, so you can see here I have all of the different media, and I can click on each one to see how they're going to show up. Perfect, looks good to me. And then I'm also going to add in a couple of fonts that I want. All right, super easy, drag and drop. I love that. And what I also love is that you can instantly compress all of the media just by pressing this button. All right, so now what we're gonna do, one next step that we're going to take is jump into the feed, which is the community marketplace that I had mentioned before, so that we can just see if there's any blocks that we wanna add into this website. As you can see, there's tons of things that you can use to remix the blocks that other people have created. It gives credit to those, and you can see how many times each block was already used. I'm going to look for a nav bar, a footer, and maybe a few others that I want to add to this site because I don't necessarily want to build those things from scratch. So this looks good. I'm going to add this to our Kelly Larkin site. And if you saw that, it gave a little +1 to that creator, which is great. And then we're gonna add a couple more, then we're gonna go back to the site. All right, so we are back into the website, and as you can see, we have some blocks that we've added from the feed. So I have a nav bar, a footer, and I also got a product spotlight that I think will be really good for the site that I have in mind here. We already have our media, our fonts. One last thing I want to do is add a sheet that we're going to use later on in the site. So we're going to create a blank one, but if you have a CSV of data that you want to use, you can do that as well. So we're going to use this to create a list of services that Kelly offers. And I'm going to show you how we're going to use that in the site in just a bit. So the app sheet works in the exact same way you would expect any other spreadsheet. The difference here is that you're going to be able to use whatever data you put here dynamically in the websites that you build. Some good use cases for this would be to display blog posts. If you have members or staff that you want to display for a company website, you could also use this to display your products or services as we are doing here. The list goes on and on. Anything where you have iterable information, this is the best place to put it so that you can dynamically add that to your site instead of doing it manually. So we have, I want an image, a description, and a title for the services that she has, and we're only going to do 3. So first and foremost, I'm going to drag and drop some images in. Okay, so I have the basic information that I want in here, and I just added some lorem ipsum there just so that I didn't have to come up with copy on the spot. But let's save this and then go back to our worksheet. All right. Now we are ready to make our first page. So let's do that. And we're going to call this our landing. So now we can open up the landing page. So as you can see, we have our new page. There's nothing here. It's completely blank. As you can see, as you scroll, you're going to see a lot of terms that should be familiar. And these are going to be where you are going to be able to edit the different CSS styles and elements that you add to your homepage. Another key feature you will notice, especially for those of you who are learning, is that if you hover over these keywords, you'll see a question mark pop up. If you click, it will open up a little description of what that particular style does and how it will allow you to style your page, which I think is so great. And I wish I had this when I was just learning. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with our nav. So I'm going to pull in the nav that we used. So we've added our nav bar first. And as you can see, we have these blue things that have popped up. These are the things that you can very easily change in the block that you have pulled in. So one thing I'm going to do right here, I'm just going to change this to clear so that the background of our nav bar is clear. But to make any further adjustments, I'm going to click on it, open the block, and then I can scroll and see every child element that is within this, including the image that was used for the logo, the buttons, and all of the links that are used in the navigation bar. So I'm going to go in and actually change out the different items that are here so that it's closer to what we want, including changing some of the fonts and stuff. Okay, so we saved that, and now we're back in the landing page where we can start building off more things. Let's start with our first aspect of the website, which I'll probably turn into a block a little later on. So I'm gonna start with an element, go to container, and I'm just gonna use a regular div for this. We will call it the hero here. And the first thing I want to do for the hero, I'm gonna add a couple of elements. I'm gonna add a section. Let's find containers. I can type in section here. Here it is. And we'll call this the text section. And then I'm gonna add another section, actually, got it here. And I'm gonna add an image. And as you can see, it pops up with the images, and I'm gonna use this one. So I have now a text section and an image section. So now we're gonna go into this text section and add the text that we wanna use. Okay, so you couldn't see it at first, but all of our text is now up here. So let's make edits so that we can change the font and the styling setup of these two sections. So one shortcut you're definitely going to want to be using is Command K, so that you can jump into any section that you want. Let's first start with font family, and then you can see it opens up where font family is, and I can very easily select the font family that I want, and you can see that these are the ones, some of the ones that I have in there, as well as some default ones. So I'm going to use Contora for that. I also want to go to the font weight because I have two different weights and I'm not really sure which one I want to use. We'll do the normal one. And then we're also going to change the font of that to the normal weight as well. Now let's go in and change some of the styles here. Okay, so you saw me playing around with it a little bit. I think what I'm gonna do is add a button here, and I think we can move on to the next section. So I've styled the button. I think I like what this is looking like so far. And so I'm going to move on to something else, to a new block. But I wanted to show you how you can turn something that you've created into a block itself. So I've already created this in the Finder. We've made everything look the way we want it. You actually click here and you can hit create block. There you go. And now it's creating it into a block. Now here it is. And I can see all the things that I've changed, all of the elements of that block. The best thing I think about these blocks is now that I've created the hero block, I can actually go into it and search here to send it, and I can send this block to any of the other sites that I've created. Being able to reuse blocks that you've created in multiple different ways in other sites is such a powerful tool, and I think that it's definitely going to save you time in the long run in your development process. Okay, so I've just added a new element. It's a section that we're going to call services, and this is where we're going to outline all of the services that I outlined in the sheet prior to this step. So I'm going to first add a header to this section, and we're going to call it services, obviously. You can see it showing up at the bottom here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is add a new element that is going to be a container. And we are going to make this a section that we start populating our services. So within this container, I'm going to add another element, and this is going to be a very special element called a sheet feed. And this is how we're going to bring all of the services that we have in our sheet that we previously made, and we're going to be able to bring it to life in our website now. So as you can see, when I opened up the sheet feed option, it opened up this tab, and what that is it's populating all of the sheets that we already created within this website. And since we only had the services one, it's populating that one. I'm going to click it. So now everything in that sheet is linked to this element right here. Now what I'm going to do is add another element container that we're going to use to create a template that it's going to use to populate all of these services. So I'm going to call it the service card, and I'm going to drop that right nested into our sheet feed element. And basically what it's going to do is for every row that was in our sheet feed, it's going to create one of these service cards. So I'm going to take some time to add some styling to this service card, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we are back, and this is what the services section looks like. We didn't have time to go into all of the different things that I did for this, but here are the highlights. So as I said, anything that was attached to the services card under the services sheet feed would populate whatever was in this services card. So let me show you what we did. I added an image. And as you can see, the source of the image is equal to A. Now, if we open up our sheet again, as you may remember, I went in and I added the image, description, and title for every service that she offered, and the column A is image. You can also see that column B was the description and column C is the title. So when we go back, we can see that the source of the image is equal to A in that sheet. And then I have a section where the text is, and the title is in the C column. So that is showing up there. And then B was the description, and that is showing up there. I took some time and actually added in some copy for some of these just to see how it was going to look. And then I added a button. So there's going to be a learn more button. You guys get the idea. So this is how it looks. I also went ahead and changed the header on this. I changed some of the styles so that it kind of overlaps into the other section above it. I changed the font family on it and made it a little bit bigger. So for the sake of time, I also went ahead and added some of the other blocks that we added into this, just so you guys can see what that looks like, just to finish it up. So I wanted an about me section for Kelly so that you can have a little bit there. This was a block that we were using, and I actually just went in and changed the image. I changed the text to about me. So that was super easy to do. I didn't have to really go into the block like we did for the nav bar. And then here is also the footer. So I changed the colors of the links down here. I changed the copyright text, and I also changed the background. The background was originally blue. This is the full thing. Let us save this so we don't lose any of this, and then I can deploy. And as you can see, this is our website. This is what it looks like. It needs some more work. I'm definitely going to go in and play around with it and switch some things up, maybe add some animations and really build it out so that we can link to other pages and things like that. But this is not a bad start, and it didn't take me too long to get it all together. So as you can see, this is a very powerful tool that is great for both beginners and pros alike. I especially really enjoy the fact that this is a great way for you to start monetizing your skill sets and even building up more credibility with the things that you create online. As I had mentioned before, there are so many dope features and integrations available on the.com that we didn't get to touch on in today's video, but definitely use the link in the description down below to create your own account and start playing around with it yourself. If you have any more specific questions or suggestions for other deep dives that we can do on this channel, definitely leave those in the comments below. But you can also use the Slack channel that is available on the.com as well. In the meantime, guys, just know that I love you, I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.